Hey everybody, I'm Aida and I'm running for co-president activities and events.
Hi Aida.
Hey.
Why are you running for this role?
Well, I guess the first thing that I would say is I love SOAS, which everybody does. And I think I've been part of a community that I really learned to... I just was very at ease in it. And I tend to get active as soon as I feel comfortable in a setting. So I try to give back something. Doesn't need to be at SOAS, is really anywhere. And I just started actually getting involved in first year and second year, joining societies and teams.
What would you want to be your trademark policy or creation, something that could be your legacy?
As a trademark, something that's big or flashy or like really exciting, I was thinking of a tournament with University of London unis. I got the idea because I'm part of the basketball team and we're gonna go to Paris next weekend actually, which is exciting. And the organizer as a uni is Sciences Po, and I think it's a really, really great idea. This is a more international tournament and I'm thinking a bit more small scale because obviously, I mean, it would be the first time that you set up something and you need to be quite careful.
Why are you the best candidate for the role?
The people who know me, or at least, tell me that I'm generally a very, open person. I'm quite easy to talk to. I'm genuine. That's, I guess, what I would like a co-president to be.
What do you think the current activities and events officer has done well, and what do you think he could have improved on?
It's quite funny because I've talked to Johan a lot about his position. I've also talked to Keiko about hers, and I talked to Jasper Kane, who was the co-president activities and events 6 years ago. It wasn't called that way, but it was similar, responsibilities. And what they've all struggled with, I think, is just after the handover in the summer, in July, you're basically on your own and you just graduated. And there are so many things that you can't foresee. And I think that's the main challenge of this position, that you face really difficult and important decisions, especially also when it comes to money. And you have to stay on top of these things, but also you have to juggle it with always being accessible to the students, because in the end you're working for the whole student body. And maybe the hardest part for Johan, I think, was just being communicative in the sense that you're in the office every day and every time somebody comes in, and you just have to stop what you're doing, focus on that person, try to get it sorted, give them the feeling that you're actually listening to them and that you actually do care, be on top of your emails, all these kind of nitty-gritty things. I think that's probably what's been hardest. And then I think Johan's legacy is probably the festival. I think if you look through the manifest faces of the people running for this position, everybody picked up on it. Everybody loves it. Everybody thinks it was a good idea.
What is something that you cannot do and something that you refuse to do?
I think I can't, or I won't be able to take on the ideal role for everybody. I think that's what I had to be when I started thinking about running. That's the main thing that annoyed me, that I will not be able to be the ideal candidate for everybody. There will always be someone who challenges me, who criticizes me, who's unhappy with what I do. But maybe that's not a bad thing at all. And then I think what I will not do is I will not make this about myself. I think I know personality is obviously very important when it comes to this role. We've seen what happened when somebody else ran and maybe, did some mistakes that affected the whole student body. And I think it is about personality, but only to a certain extent. And after that, my taste in music, the stuff that I do in my spare time doesn't matter at all.
How will you promote sports at SOAS, and how will you find sponsors for the sports teams?
I think I would try to promote sports and societies always combined, because obviously I think SOAS is very, very good with, or just the students are very good with coming up with new ideas when it comes to societies, being politically active, being engaged. And maybe sports hasn't been a priority so far. I think Johan also tried to make sports a bit more present at SOAS. But I still think that only focusing on sports would not be in the spirit of most students.
Do you feel that postgrads are often left out in activities and events?
Yeah, I do. Especially in Freshers Week. I think a lot of master students, a lot of PhD students already kind of have found their own circles now, but making it easier for them as well. Just having maybe even just a guide of what to do in London, because maybe they're more outward looking in terms of they're only staying in SOAS for a year, so they want to make the most of London as well.
If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
I think I'm just gonna go with the first 3 words that
Okay.
because
Okay.
otherwise it's gonna get too complex.
That's okay.
I would probably say I'm curious, I'm dedicated, and compassionate.
Thanks very much, Aida.